So, I want to talk to you about, well, the title of this video is Perfect Aim, and there's a reason for that. See, I don't really believe in missing people, and I don't mean in a physical sense, I mean in an emotional sense. And I know that the majority of you are going to disagree with me, and I understand that there may even be some of you who think that I am mentally ill because of this. It's not the case. It's, perhaps it's a little zen, despite the fact that I'm not zen in any way, shape, or form. It's just something that I had thought about a long time ago. I actually wrote a blog on this on MySpace back in the day. I mean, man, probably 8 years ago now. So here's the idea. The TLDR version is that this is a lesson in independence, self-reliance, and emotional stability, and also living life to the fullest. So here's the long version. When you miss somebody, what you are saying is that your life is now somehow diminished because of their absence. And while that may or may not be true, what you're really saying is, in this moment, I have nothing better to do than to long for the past. That is sad. While history certainly teaches us a lot, and our individual histories certainly help shape who we are now, it has nothing to do with, well, I'm not going to phrase it that way. What I'm trying to say is don't let the past don't let the past hinder who you are now. You see, a lot of athletes, retire, get injured, whatever, and they long for the past. They long for their glory days. And while emotionally I do understand that to a point, because there are days where, I fall into the trap of missing, old training that I have moved beyond, where I miss old simplicity and whatnot. But what that's saying is I'm not sufficiently coping with what's going on right now in my life. In the past I have told people that I missed them, and it was always it's always an empty platitude, really, because I don't spend my time thinking about anybody. I don't spend my time wishing somebody was around, except with the one case of my wife. I mean, I wouldn't have married her if I didn't want her around all the time. And so in that case, I am not perfect in this philosophy, because I'm very much attached to my wife and desire her presence and accompaniment at all times. And I feel the same would be for my animals, my pets, my cats, my pride. Because I do feel a certain attachment and connection with those who I place in my life. I won't lie about that. And I'm not going to tell you that it's healthy to be 100% detached, because it's really not. We are social creatures at the crux of it. But to hinge your life on the presence of another is sad. It puts you into this state of kind of perpetual or periodic or intermittent mourning, really, when you're not with this person, and if that is affecting you to the point where it is destabilizing you emotionally, you are not really living in the moment. You're living in the past, and I think that is damaging to our personal development. So while it is okay to remember past experiences and shared experiences, past conversations, feelings, loves, all of that, it is not necessary to cling to them so deeply that you cannot enjoy now. You know, a good example is when somebody dies, we often feel this sense of mourning because, unique to a very, very few species on this earth, do we understand mortality. And we have seen it in some other species at some level. Famous examples, elephants and chimps. We have seen that they understand mortality and they understand the loss of life, and do seem to show some kind of emotional response to the loss. But the difference is that they continue on with their lives. And the reason why is because those of us who are living are still alive. We still have to take the next breath. We still have to take the next step. We still have to continue down our journey and evolve. And by living in the past, by living under the shadow of what was, we are functionally saying I am incapable of evolving without that weight of the past dragging behind me. And that's Stockholm Syndrome, is really what it is. Don't let your past enslave you to the point where it becomes this emotional destabilizer. Now, I will say this, perhaps I am a little more detached than others because I really do not miss people. I haven't, seen my parents in, years. Well, I saw my mom a few months back, but that was the first time in 3 years. I haven't seen my father in that time. My grandmother, my little brother, any of my friends from where I grew up or went to college, I haven't seen anybody for a minimum of 3 years. It's just me and my wife and my pets and our new life here. And I don't regret not being around those people. I love them still, but I have no attachment that is pulling me to continue to be around them. It is perfectly natural to leave the nest. It is perfectly natural to evolve and grow beyond the group and to start your own group. That's really what growing up and mating and creating families is all about. It's about stepping outside of where you developed and going to be the foundation for the next generation's development, or to finish your own journey in your own way. And if you're carrying around the ball and chain of the past, then you are doing yourself and really your family a disservice. And I understand that in some cases many of us want to stick around and help our parents out as they age, or we want, some of you who are parents yourselves want to cling on to your children longer and longer because you feel that they won't develop properly without your guidance. And to a point I understand that, but you've got to also realize that what you're doing is you are saying that the interaction between you is more important than you. And you have to understand that if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not living your own life, how can you care for somebody else? It is going to be poor quality at the best. You are not going to be able to deal with all of the things that life throws at you if you constantly have to have somebody else in tow. And so I'm not telling you don't love people. I'm not even telling you don't attach to people. But what I'm saying is when you have moved on, when you have taken up to the next part of your life, understand that you are doing so for you. You are doing so for your new tribe, for your new family, You are doing so to move on with your development, and you need to do that. It is your evolution, it is your life, it is your path. You need to walk it. And you don't have to do it alone, but you don't have to drag your past with you. So don't let family and friends stop you from moving on with your life if you really feel you need to move on with your life. It doesn't mean that you don't love them because you are leaving them behind. It doesn't mean you don't love somebody if you don't feel this overwhelming sense of grief and mourning when they pass. It simply means that you are choosing to still live. It means that you are choosing to do the one thing that maybe they couldn't or wouldn't or can no longer do. What greater gift can you give to the memory of somebody passing than to live your life? I haven't met anybody yet who would truthfully, honestly, I know some of you assholes are very cynical and would say it as a joke or even as some kind of narcissistic prank, but I'm the biggest narcissist of them all, and I know narcissism when I see it. But I have not met anybody yet who honestly, truthfully, would rather see you fawn over them and bury yourself in their memory than to move on and live your own life. I haven't met anybody that way. And if you do meet somebody like that, that person is very much a needy leech and probably isn't somebody you want in your life anyway. So it's food for thought. I would challenge you to start evaluating, do you really miss somebody? Do you really miss an experience? Or are you just saying that? Can you appreciate the past without it weighing you down? I know I can. And yes, I have moments where I do feel the weight of the past on me and feel like I've fallen short of the potential I had back then. But then that's not necessarily true. Sometimes evolution takes wild swings. And so I want you to understand, and I want you to examine, what is directing your life? How are you directing your life? Because that's the important question. How are you directing your life? I'm going to leave you with that. I'm not going to ramble anymore. I will talk to you later. Feel free to post a comment. And if you're into martial arts and not just here for the philosophy, head on over to the Martial Arts Nerds, ! Group over on Facebook and join in the conversation. I will talk to you guys later. Good journey.